So I got asked by a customer yesterday, why are so many Australians buying all of these utes? And I said, well, they're sort of not really. And he said, but they are. It's all over the news. Like, all these utes and they're bad for the environment. I said, well, it's actually not entirely true that that's what's happening. He said, what do you mean? So let me explain it to you. There are two markets within the Australian car market. In fact, there are two markets near enough anywhere where you go in the world. And that is that you've got the private buyers and the commercial buyers. Now, the private buyers are the people like you and me that have our hard-earned cash, go down to the dealership and say, hey, I want to buy that, and I'm going to drive it around, I'm going to drive it to and from work, and I'm going to go and play footy in it, and I'm going to go on holiday and, visit the next city, etc., etc. You get the idea, right? And then the other lot are commercial people who own businesses. Now, that's anything from the single people running a business like myself, or running up to companies that own, multinationals who own, tens of thousands of different vehicles and hire tens of thousands of different people. That's the commercial side. And they can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. But strangely enough, commercial people tend to buy commercial vehicles and private people tend to buy passenger vehicles. So if we split that in two, actually we change the landscape quite quickly. Let me show you. So here is the list of the top 10 selling cars in 2023. You can see it's right at the very top. We got the Ford Ranger, the Toyota Hilux, the Isuzu D-Max. They're the top 3 selling vehicles in Australia. Then we have got the Toyota RAV4, the MG ZS, the Tesla Model Y, the Toyota Land Cruiser, the Mitsubishi Outlander. Breathe in, the Mazda CX-5 and the Hyundai Tucson. Now that is the top selling commercial and privately bought vehicles. But what happens to that top 10 list when we split it in two? Now, this was reported in carexpert.com.au, and you can see here that last year there was just over 1.2 million vehicles sold in 2023, and 630 of them were private buyers, which means the rest of them, these ones here, were sold to business fleets, to the rental market. Oh, look, government fleets as well. That's important because you'll soon find out that they actually buy a lot of these vehicles too. So bear in mind, they're the people that aren't included in the next lot of figures, because this 630, this is the sort of vehicles that they're buying. At the top of the list, we've got the Tesla Model Y. It's a battery electric vehicle. I don't know why that would be inconvenient for some people, but it's a battery electric vehicle and they're doing incredibly well. They sold 20,500 of them. You have a look up here. Now, on the right-hand side, it shows how many private people bought the vehicle compared to the corporations, to the businesses. So 71.5% of Tesla Model Ys were bought by private people, the people like you and me. Well, not you and me, because I can't afford one of those, but I can afford one of the next ones, the MG ZS. Cracking little thing. It's a little hatchback. It's like 23 grand, which is just phenomenal. And no surprise that they are coming in and in second place. And you can see once again, 70%, just under 70% of those were bought by private people. The Toyota RAV4 then coming in at number 3 was the 60% of sales going to private people at, and they sold 17,861. Now, it's not until you get to number 4 in the private sales list that you hit a ute. That's the Ford Ranger. But have a go at these percentages. 27% of Ford Rangers were sold to private people. Now, people go off-roading, people live remote, people tow caravans, people tow other things as well. It's no surprise, though, that a commercial vehicle actually was bought mostly by commercial people. You can see that there is at least 73% of the sales for the Ford Ranger was commercial, and that's no shock. Now, the rest of these cars, most of these, until you get down to number 8, which is the Toyota Hilux, the rest of these are all passenger vehicles. So you can see, when I said to him, well, average people aren't just buying utes, that's the commercial vehicles that are selling that. It's strange that we're not referring to these. Now, we know that the government wants to put a new tax on vehicles, and it really is in their interest to try and push that all these commercial vehicles, the problem is too many people are buying these commercial vehicles, so therefore we have to have some sort of control on them. And it would be inconvenient to have figures like this showing that most people, average people, don't buy utes, but commercial people that run businesses do buy utes, which means it is going to push up the price of utes, which will push up the cost of buying one, which means it will push up the cost of your services. It will push up the cost of the vehicles that are of the types of services that you want, whether that be whichever trade you want, whether it be a plumber, a builder, a mechanic. You know, it will contribute to pushing up their costs within your rules. But if they make you believe that everybody's buying these things, we got to do something about it, well, that's just convenient for them, isn't it? But the reality is, most people aren't. Most people are buying passenger vehicles for a passenger person to use privately. There you go. Anyway, I don't know whether you knew that or not. Let me know if you did. If you didn't know it, put it in the comments. And if you think I'm wrong, fair enough. Let me know why in the comments. And by the way, if you are looking to buy any of these second-hand, I do come and do vehicle inspections if it's in South Australia. So happy to come and have a look at it and make sure you're not buying a lemon. Hey, and if you're buying it brand new, well, I used to work in dealerships. If you've seen what happens to some of those before they go out, you'd want me to come and inspect them before you bought them brand new as well. Anyway, happy car hunting. I hope you find this list interesting. And I hope you get the right vehicle that you want, and make sure that you don't buy a lemon, and let me come and inspect it if you don't want to buy one. And I'll catch you later. Happy hunting.